Right, if we remember the last video, I made a dinosaur fursuit head. And it looks good, doesn't it? If you want to see the creation of that head, you can go watch that video. But, listen, alright, you can watch it later after this one. Because trust me, you're going to want to stick around and watch this video first. Because this video is going to have the full shebang. The full suit. And it looks sick. So, enough waiting around. Let's just get started on making the bodysuit. First things first, we need to make a sewing pattern for the bodysuit. So I brought out my old duct tape dummy that I used before on my very first full suit. Yeah, you remember this old thing? It's a bit munted, but it should still be alright. And if you don't know what this thing is, it's basically a duct tape cast of my entire body that I made before in a previous video. And it's going to help us get the right size and the right measurements for the bodysuit. Well, obviously, right now it's not going to do that because it's empty and limp. So first, we need to fill it up using, just any old rubbish, basically. Just some old foam bits, fur scraps, paper, anything and everything, right? Stuff it all in until it's properly full up. And once it's sorted and it's nice and solid, we can actually hang it up. Oh yeah, look at this. Look at this. The production budget has gone way up. I mean, look at this. We got this lovely £12 Argus clothes hanger. And with this, we can actually hang up the dummy for once. Because last time, I did it on the floor. So, yeah. Definitely an upgrade in that department. The next step is to draft the leg padding shape. Because we're going to be doing a digigrade suit, not a plantigrade suit. So we need these big fat leg lumps, don't we? Last time I made a full suit, I think my leg padding was, it was a bit lackluster. Don't think it was quite that good. I mean, they weren't really shaped or anything. It was just this. So we're going to try and do a little bit better this time. The problem is, I still need to use some foam to kind of like draft the right shape for my sewing pattern. But I don't really have any scrap foam just lying around. Apart from these tiny little scraps, which obviously we can't use. And I don't really want to use my good foam because, I just bought that. That's like pristine and nice, you know what I mean? I don't want to waste it on just drafting the shape. So I decided, you know what, I don't really wear my other fursuit, like, ever, and I probably never will, I don't really have a reason to wear it. So I just ripped the other leg lump off of that, and chopped it all up, and used that to make a bigger, fuller, more, purposefully shaped leg lump for this suit. And listen, alright, I know. It looks a bit shocker right now and, ugly. But trust me, alright, it'll look good in the end. I promise. Alright, I've got a plan for this, alright? A new strategy. That's also why there's only one on one leg and there's not one on both legs. So yeah, don't worry. Alright, I've got it all under control. Alright, I'll show you my plan later on, when we get there. But yeah. Now that we have our completed duct tape dummy, we can finally start making our sewing pattern. You know how it is. We do this in every video. You just cover the whole thing in duct tape, draw out all the shapes and markings and where we want the seams and stuff to be, then cut it all back off again. And now these duct tape pieces are the exact perfect shape to fit onto my body. So we can just cut out all the fur in the same shape and it will fit perfectly when we sew it all back together. Also, we only need to do half because for the other side, we're just going to flip it over and do each piece twice. It saves us some time and we don't have to waste as much tape. But yeah, then I had to transfer all of these shapes onto fabric, which you'd think would be easy, but actually, it took a while. Because I came to a bit of a roadblock. I don't actually have enough fur. I don't have enough pink, and I don't have enough black. So I was forced to tweak the design, you know, just a little bit. The entire back of the suit is now purple, instead of just like a little stripe of purple. And I also had to use some slightly different black fur that I had left over from my other suit. It's not exactly the same brand as fur and the same length, but once it's shaved, it looks pretty similar. Alright, you can tell it's slightly different if you look at it too long, but it's only a slight difference, alright? No one's gonna notice. Oh, and did I say shaved? Oh yeah. Yeah, I did. Because I had to shave this bodysuit. All of it. Yeah. Now this took a while. I spent most of an entire day on my weekend just shaving, and shaving. Yeah, that was basically my entire Saturday. But it's gotta be done because our dinosaur is not fluffy, alright? Despite people in the comments of the last video telling me, oh, dinosaurs can be fluffy, you know. How do you know that, huh? How do you know? Were you there, huh? No. They all turned into spooky skeletons like over a decade ago. You don't know what they look like. In fact, all you furries out there watching these videos, you don't even know what living animals look like, for God's sake. Because foxes ain't blue, are they, mate? So listen, alright. Dinosaurs are scaly, and that's the end of it. Anyway, we're finally done now with the shaving, and we can finally start cutting it all out, which, again, was another boring, menial, long as hell task. But once I was finished with that, I can finally start sewing together this mountain of fur pieces and actually start putting the suit together. I started off with sewing the black stripes that go on the back because those are probably the most complicated shape out of all of it. And because they're a complicated weirdo sort of shape, I ended up just hand sewing them instead of struggling with the machine, you know, trying to do all these weird corners and stuff. Thought it would just be easier. But as I said in my previous videos, I don't mind that. I love hand sewing. I can hand sew all day. So that was fine. But for these long straight bits, I did start using the machine. Last time I used my machine though was actually quite a while ago. It was way back in my video where I made this kigurumi onesie sort of thing. And in that video, the needle broke. So I had to replace it, which was actually really easy. I kind of expected it to be a bit more complicated. But hey, I'm glad it was easy, because I had to do it 2 more times. Yeah. I started off, you know, naive to what was about to happen. Just doing a bit of sewing, nice and simple, la-di-da-di-da. And then my bloody needle broke on me. Like, I only just replaced this, right? Why is it broken again? So I was like, okay. And then I replaced it. And then this time it broke, like, instantly. Like, as soon as I started sewing again, it broke. What the hell, man? What is going on? That one as well. That one's just fully exploded. I don't even know where the rest of it is, alright? This is all that's left of it. So I replaced it again. And I don't really have that many left. So, you know, I wanted to be real careful on this one. So I went super slow. And I made sure not to really pull or even touch the material. Because I googled online and supposedly that is the main reason why sewing needles break. And that seemed to work pretty well. So we're all good now. But it was a bit of a palaver, that was, wasn't it? Like, why has it decided to suddenly throw a tantrum with me now? Like, I made a whole suit with it before and it went perfectly fine. But because of all that, you know, I was a bit hesitant to use it again. So I decided to take a break from using the machine and I sewed all of the little darts by hand. Basically, just like the really small stitches. And then, you know, I wasn't really paying attention. I was just kind of on autopilot. So I started just hand sewing another bit without paying attention. And then another bit. and then another bit, and I got into a bit of a groove then. And by the time I realized that I was hand sewing instead of using the machine, I had already hand sewed quite a lot of it. So I was just like, screw it, we're gonna go all the way. And I hand sewed the vast majority of this suit. You can see here, these are the hand sewed stitches, and then these ones are the ones using the machine. And if you look over it, most of it is hand sewn. And you know what? I liked it. Alright? It's better than using the machine. It just feels better. You know what I mean? It's easy. It's chill. It doesn't really feel like work. It feels more like a break from the work. And also, there's no exploding needles. So, you know, that's a nice plus. Anyway. And now that the bodysuit is done, we've got to work on the other little stuff. Like the hands. Now, I actually made my own pattern for these hands, which, you know, I've never done that before. Before, I just used a pre-made pattern that I found for free on the internet. But obviously, dinosaur patterns are, you know, they're kind of hard to come by. So I was pretty much forced to make my own. And honestly, there's not much to really talk about. I just drew around my hand and then cut out some fur in the same shape. And that's it. It's basically as simple as it gets. And now we've got these nice 3-fingered gloves, looking pretty slick. But anyway, after that, I started making the feet, which is going to be another 3-digit appendage. I made these feet to have a bit more mobility in the ankle department, because the other ones are like ski boots. Like, your ankle just can't move at all. And it was actually really easy to add ankle mobility. All I did was just make these two parts not connected to the back of it, because before I had them like wrapped all the way around. But anyway, back to making the feet. When I was making the feet, I actually made the bottoms of the feet out of a different material this time. It's actually a way stronger, way thicker foam that's just cut out of some like yoga mats. And it definitely feels way better, way stronger. The other one bends a little bit and it feels a bit flimsy, especially when your ankle doesn't move. So like when you point your toes, it kind of feels like you're going to rip the bottom off of it. But yeah, that is the feet sorted. And finally, the last little added extra is the tail. Now, I made the tail as basically just a giant stuffed triangle. So it was really simple to make. This is the pattern for it. As you can see here, not really much to say about that one, about as simple as it gets. But when I ordered the stuffing to go inside of the tail, I didn't really know exactly how much I would need. So I was just like, yeah, whatever. I'll just get a decent amount to make sure that I don't run out. I'll definitely use it in the future, so I can overbuy a little bit. And in the end, I bought 20 kilograms because it wasn't that expensive. And I don't know, I just wasn't really thinking about it, I guess. You know, I was ordering a bunch of stuff at the time, so I was more thinking about like how much fur I would need and stuff like that. But then after I had already ordered it and it was already on its way, I remembered that we're talking about stuffing here. Like, stuffing's not very heavy. So, long story short, I have all of these giant sacks of stuffing, and I only use this much for the entire suit. Like, that's the padding and the tail and everything. So, yeah. I don't think I'm gonna run out for, like, ever. Anyway, but yeah, I just thought it was funny. I've got way too much stuffing now. But, yeah, moving on. That is the gloves, the tail, the feet, and the bodysuit mostly done. All that's left is the little details. I had to add the zippers for the torso, and the zip-on feet, and the zip-on tail. And I actually put the zipper on the back of the suit this time, because the black zipper really sticks out against like the bright pink. So now it's hidden on the back, all incognito like next to the mane. So you basically can't see it. Anyway, the very last thing we need to do is we need to make the padding for the legs. Do you remember at the very start of the video when I said I had a plan for the legs? Well, this is that plan. I made the leg padding out of pillows, which I sewed together, And I used this ugly foam shape from earlier to make the sewing pattern for these pillows. And the reason I did it like this is because it means the leg padding is like, it's a bit of a better shape, obviously, but also it should be lighter, easy to clean, basically just better in every way. So that's another little improvement to add to the list. But before I show you the finished result, there's one more thing that I've got to sort out first. And that is to thank my Patreon members, because I've got 3 of them now. So we're going to write all of their names in the special Dusk Clan book. And Suki, who's actually already in the book, got the top tier Patreon level. So he gets to go in the book again, and he gets his own dedicated page. Here we go, look at that. I tried to do like a little drawing and everything, but trouble is, I'm not very good at drawing. But I tried. Alright, come on. I mean, you gotta give me some credit. There's some effort gone into that. And we also gotta do the other 2, which was Ty McNair and Kitten Box. So thank you, you 3, for supporting me. It really does help. If you also want to join Dusk Clan and get work in progress pictures of upcoming videos and get your name written in a video, then check the link in the description for Patreon. The lowest tier is only £4.50, and it really does help me out because these fursuit materials, they ain't cheap, alright? I spent over 200 quid on fur alone for this suit, and a good couple hundred for everything else. So Patreon support would really go a long way in helping me, you know, keep this channel going. But anyway, you're probably sick of hearing about the Patreon now, so let's move on. And now I can finally show you the finished product. So, drum roll please. And here it is. I've kind of had mixed feelings about this suit. At first, I was all disappointed and I kind of thought that it sucked. But now that I've managed to sleep on it, it's not bad. It's not bad. I actually had to change this part of the script like 3 different times and re-record it all again because I just kept changing my mind. But yeah, I think I did alright. Although this has sort of made me want to do more full suits because I really want to practice and I really want to get good at fursuit making, you know what I mean? I'd at least like to get to the point where I'm confident enough that I can handle commission work. But I think that's a long way off for now. I reckon I'll get there eventually though. But for this suit, I will be auctioning it off on the dealer's den. I'm not actually sure if it will sell as a full suit because like, I don't know if it will fit most people. But if it doesn't sell, then I'll just relist it as a partial instead. Because it actually looks quite good as just a partial. But yeah, link in the description if you like the look of it and you want to buy it. And subscribe if you liked the video. And if you want to see more and you know you just can't wait for the next video, then maybe you should go watch some of my older videos on screen right now.